Hey everybody, I'm back. Video 153 of 365. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist, and I'm creating a video every day for a whole year to get over my fear of public speaking and social anxiety. And this is really helping me. Thank you so much for listening. And if you just found me today, awesome. I love it. Please subscribe if you'd like. I literally am doing a video every day. So, and this may continue for the rest of my life. I have no idea, but it's fun for now. So I'm enjoying every moment. And today I would love to talk about how not pretty much, every thought that you have is an affirmation. I've heard a lot of people say that they are tired of doing affirmations and they're getting exhausted trying to manifest things. So we've got to dial this back in and keep this very, very simple as possible. Now we can take this as deep as we want it to go. I can go deep, but I like to keep it simple for especially beginners. I am not professing to be 100% perfect at this. So I'm just a person out there. I'm not a guru of any sort. I'm just a person who loves to talk about this and loves to practice this. And anything that works for me, I love to share because it's pretty interesting stuff. So, and I love learning about things like that, like how everything you think is an affirmation. Like just knowing little nuggets like that can really help us, little gems. And so think about what you're thinking about. Like seriously, think about what you're thinking about. During your day, we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day, and about 90 to 95% of them, I don't know who did this math. I don't know how they figured this out. I really don't remember. I'm sure I heard who did it or when, how, I don't know. I'm sure I heard before, but I don't remember. So that's just the numbers I remember. And we have a lot of thoughts. They're just constantly coming in. And so we can't wrangle them all to the ground, of course, and kill them. But we can figure out what we dominantly feel. So if you're dominantly feeling up and down or not so good, we've got to watch what we're thinking. And so my first recommendation is always to decide, how do I want to feel? How do I prefer to feel? Maybe use the word prefer. I feel this way, but I prefer to feel this way. Instead of, well, I feel this way and I don't want to feel this way and blah, blah. You know, when we start bringing in the negative, I don't want this, that's automatically putting yourself in a powerless position. Okay, so think about it that way. When you say, I feel this way and I prefer to feel this way, that gives you a little bit more power right there in those words. So just right there, just watch the power of your words. That's why I called this channel Life Spells, because literally everything we think and feel and say is all a spell. It's just casting a spell. We've had spells cast on us, not literally. This is not a witchy type of thing. This is like this is normal and natural. It's like it's manifestation. It's what we think, feel, and believe shows up. That is what what our perspective is created from. Our perception is created from that, and that's how we perceive everything we see around us. So think about what your dominant thoughts are. Now, I like to go to self-concept every single time first to build the foundation of you, because as you get to know you and as you master yourself as much as one can, I mean, we're always learning and growing. We're never going to stop doing that. We're always being shaped and molded every single day into who we're becoming as, you know, whatever theme we might have chosen to explore before we came here. I don't know. There's all these theories, but I like the idea that we chose a theme or something like that, and that was just our thing that we came here to do, and thing that we came here to discover and have fun, you know, in the journey of discovering it, and all those things. So I think that's kind of cool. Some people have a theme of self-worth, building their self-worth. I think that was mine, or one of mine for sure. And as I've built my self-worth over the years, oh my gosh, I just can't tell you how valuable it is to work on your self-concept and your worthiness, because during your day, you'll just be able to go back inside yourself and It'll almost be like a safe, peaceful haven for you to go to in your mind. Once you get this under control more, and you can then create the life you're actually wanting. You know, you can transform these negative thoughts and transmute them. It's just energy. We're made of energy. Thoughts are pretty much energy, if you want to think about it that way. We are sending a signal out through the way we feel. Let's look at it that way, like a frequency. So we're tuning to different radio stations, let's call it. Okay, so if you're tuned to 92.1 and you want to be listening to 104.5, you can't do that until you tune to it, right? So if you're tuned to, I have this, but I hate this, and I want something different, but I don't like where I am, and this person did this to me, and they said this, and I did this, and blah, 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 all that, right? That's 92.1, okay? That's the old self. And we're going to change the word to, I don't want that. We're going to change it to, I prefer to feel like this right now. How do I prefer to feel? And it's like, you've got to disrupt the way that you're looking at things. Just that tiny little thing right there. We are so addicted to our thoughts. It's not even funny. And we don't even know that we're addicted, first of all. Second of all, we don't even know that what we're thinking is negative sometimes because we're so used to thinking it. So a lot of people don't know that they have an issue of some sort. They just know that they don't feel good, and they know that things aren't working out, but they don't even know that it's because they're thinking a certain way. And so I thought about this morning. This might be like super like duh to people, but I was thinking about The Science of Getting Rich, and I love that book. And sorry, I've got hairs, cat hair, something. Every time I put these glasses on, I get cat hair everywhere. It's these cats. But I was thinking about The Science of Getting Rich and how you get rich by thinking in a certain way. That's the way that Wallace Wattles, says this. And then I thought, I was like doing my morning walk, and I was like, I always feel better when I do things a certain way. I feel better. And then I was like, oh, so maybe there is a certain way, if you think about it that way, there is a science to discovering yourself. Maybe we need to think in a certain way to become a new self. Duh. But I just thought about it. I was like, there's a science of getting rich. Well, there's a science to becoming the new self. So if we think about it that way, there's like almost a step-by-step process that we could kind of create a framework for ourselves. And then you could follow that framework for yourself. Make it an individualized little plan for yourself, a blueprint, if you will. Blueprint of transformation of self. And that's how you frame this. This isn't just, oh, I'm going to manifest something. This is, I'm going to create a new self that is solid and firm, rooted in the ground, rooted in life, stable. And then you've got this great foundation to build on. This is what you really want, actually. You think you want your manifestation because it will make you feel a certain way. But I promise you, when you start feeling a certain way, acting a certain way, and feeling a certain way, and thinking a certain way, believing a certain way, your foundation is just going to be so peaceful and happy that anything else that happens is like normal and natural. That's how you want it to be, normal and natural. It's just going to flow right in because you've got this stability underneath you. And a lot of times people are trying to, get things to come to them from desperation or panic or anxiety. And we don't want that. We prefer to do this from a healthier, more easy, actually, foundation. It's a lot easier to create the life that you want when you've got a firm foundation. So you want to think about what thoughts you're dominantly thinking and create a to-don't list. Oh, have you heard of that before? I think I mentioned it before. Many videos back, I said to create a to-don't list. So this might include thoughts that you're thinking, like what thoughts am I thinking that I need to let go of? Just kind of write them down. This is just for fun, just to evaluate. This is like part of your self-discovery, if you want to look at it like that. Like, this is one of those things that's really valuable. Like, write down, what do I dominantly think about that produces anxiety in me? What do I dominantly think about that produces anger in me? Like, really dig in there. Like, maybe write a page for each feeling if you need to, just so you can figure out and gauge, who am I? Where am I at? A lot of people don't know where they're at. They're just angry all the time. They don't really know why. And we talk about, it's from the past. I mean, we know that. We know that it's from, the past. But, and I won't go deep into the past, present, future stuff that's all happening right now, and there's parallel realities and all that. I won't go into all that just yet, really, but that might be a different video. But if you think about it like this, like how when something happens, you perceive it from who you're being. So if something happens, let's say a friend of yours, you make plans with a friend, and man, you put all this time into getting ready, and you're so excited, and you're thinking about what you're going to do, and you're just so excited, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then the friend cancels on you. Let's say they cancel 2 hours before you're going to go out, and you're like all dolled up, ready to go, and so excited. And now you have, it's a waste of makeup. If you're a girl, it's a waste of makeup, and now you can't go anywhere, waste of cologne for the man. I don't know. Waste of time in general, and now you feel let down. Okay, so if you are a person who doesn't have a lot of friends, or put a lot of, clinginess onto this person, like, oh, this is my best friend, and now they let me down, and now I feel like this. I feel worthless. I don't have any friends. Everyone always does this to me. This always happens. I always get my hopes up, and then I get let down. Things like that. You could have self one doing that, or self two saying, oh, okay, well, I must not have needed to go tonight. I'm just going to do something else. I'm going to enjoy some time by myself, or I'm going to call somebody else and see if they want to go out to dinner or something. Maybe we can make another plan here. You see the difference in thinking. Like, one person might think, oh my God, I'm a loser. Everyone always does this to me. Or the other person thinks like, oh, that's no big deal. We'll just plan, to do it next weekend. It's like, it could literally happen the next weekend. But because we put so much weight on this one meaning, that's why we feel so bad. But that feeling didn't really come from just this event. That feeling came from a long string of events that happened over the years, that there is a meaning that has been created through all of those. And so you have to figure out, what definitions am I giving to things? Like, if this person does this, this means this. Well, does it really mean that? Or did you just give it that meaning? And I thought about this. I was in the shower. I do a lot of thinking in the shower. I was in the shower and I was thinking, and I was like, it just dawned on me earlier today, like all the stuff I've been talking about, how it really is the definitions that we give things. Bashar says this all over the place, and I knew this, but I thought, as a child, how do we get these definitions? Like, how do we even do that? And I thought, well, when let's say we're 3 or 4 years old, we don't really remember this, but like, a parent works out of the house, they're gone, maybe Monday through Friday, they're gone, and then they're only here for the weekend. They're a truck driver or something, I don't know, and they're gone from the house. And so as a little child, you miss your dad. They're not there. And then your little brain is like, why am I not good enough for my dad to be here? But then another kid might think, oh man, well, that sucks, but he'll be back Friday. So there's two different types of kids there. There's one with probably a good self-worth, and the other doesn't have a good self-worth, if we just want to be simple about it. And I thought, well, where does that even come from as a little child? Like, how do we do that? And I don't really have a complete answer on that, other than we are programmed by everything and everyone around us. If we watched a TV show that looked similar to that, we might take on the characteristics of the characters. Or if our parents said something that kind of fit that definition, or we just don't know where it came from. And so it's kind of fun to think back, like, where did this come from? But then we can be very logical about it and look at it and say, okay, everybody else may have, let's say you're abused as well, like emotionally abused, and your parent was telling you you're worthless, and they were actually saying these things to you. All you did was believe those things. You didn't have to believe them. You just chose to believe them. You didn't know you were doing it. You just saw this authority figure telling you you're worthless, or whatever the thing was that they said to you that was not, it was abusive. So you took on that identity of I'm worthless, and then you still feel that way today. So all you have to do is look back at that definition. Where did that even come from? It came from lies. It came from abuse. It came from a person who, if a person's going to say that to their child, they might have been told that too, or they might just feel that way because they did this, this, and this, and maybe they're not where they want to be in life, so they're taking it out on their child. Whatever the case is, none of that was true, because when you're born perfect, pure love and joy. We just have these human experiences while we're becoming human here, and we're really just a spirit having this physical experience that is just a simulation. It's just a projection of consciousness. And so that's a whole other video. But anyway, back to the emotions. Whenever you're feeling something, figure out, link it back to the past and look at it and say, do I need to think this way anymore? Do I need to maybe put on my to-don't list that I need to take I'm worthless out of there? Like, that would be really good, wouldn't it? That'd feel really good. What if you are worthy? What if you are? I like to do that what if game, like, what if this is a simulation? What if I could start feeling better right now? What if I could let go of these thoughts that no longer help me at all? What if I could feel good every single day and never worry about anything again? What if I could let go of my worry? Ask the what if before everything. What if I could start believing differently today? Because a lot of people are really stuck. They're like, this is who I am. And it's like, no, you can change who you are at any moment. You're just deciding to be that way. Some people are deciding to be that way because it's comfortable. They're comfortable inside their little box because they feel safe there, because the unknown feels unsafe. So it depends on how you want to look at things. But again, if you look at being outside of that box as unsafe, you're giving, that comes from a definition from something from the past. You're identifying with the unknown being scary for some reason. So what happened? What is so scary about the unknown? Could it be that you could possibly grow into a different person and you'd be happy? And then what's so scary about being happy that it could be taken away from you? How? What if it never could be taken away? You got to play with this and think differently. You have to think differently so you can feel differently, so you can identify differently, because everything that you're thinking right now, you're identifying with that. And as soon as you find the definition of something, like, oh my God, my abusive father told me I'm worthless, and that wasn't even true. Like, he was probably told he was worthless, and then he told me I'm worthless. Well, that was a lie. So I therefore can transmute this energy. I don't need to think that thought anymore. Therefore, today, I can feel worthy if I choose. So it's just like looking at those thoughts, examining them a little bit, and saying, like, that was a lie. Why am I believing a lie today? And getting really logical with it as much as you can. And see if that helps you. Because it's all in our definitions. Watch what you're saying to yourself every day. I go through and check the way I'm speaking. Like, just like I said at the beginning of the video, how you can say, like, I don't want this, or you could say, I prefer this. It's kind of just changing, taking like the negative charge out of it and putting in more of a positive one. So think of it that way, and make a to-don't list. What is it that I need to let go of thinking today? What if you could let go of every negative thought you have about yourself? What if you could do that? What if you could believe that manifesting works? What if you could believe that you're manifesting all the time? All you have to do is select a new identity, which will select basically a new version of yourself that's going to see new versions of other people. Hint, hint. You're going to see new versions. Once you see a new version, once you become a new version of yourself, you're seeing everything and everyone differently. It's very interesting. Practice this. Self-concept, how you see yourself, is the foundation of everything. It really, truly is. You can manifest anything you want. You can choose realities all day long. You can have anything you want. But in my opinion, having a great quality of life first is like awesome, because then you never depend on the external world to give you any sort of feeling. It's just kind of like the cherry on top, which is the cherry's awesome and the icing on the cake is awesome, but you don't have to have that stuff. I mean, I really like icing, so I really want the icing, but I'm going to make sure that my cake is cooked thoroughly in the oven, and I'm going to pull it out of the oven and I'm going to enjoy that cake, and that icing is just going to be extra. I'm going to be happy anyway without the icing because I choose to be. So that's the way to look at things. You get to choose to be feeling better or not feeling better. And everything you say is an affirmation. Remember that every thought is an affirmation, because like I said, people get tripped up on affirmations and things like that, and they don't like saying them, but you're literally affirming all day long with your thoughts. So look at it that way, like I'm doing this anyway, and I'm also imagining all day long as well. It's two things. You're seeing pictures in your head all day long of future events, or you're in the past, stuck in the past thinking about what happened yesterday or what happened earlier today. And so we've got all these pictures in our heads, and then we've got all these words in our heads. And so we just got to change those pictures and words. That's it, to what you actually want to think about. If you want to feel better, you say, I want to feel better. I prefer to feel better. I can't wait to feel better. What if I could feel better all the time? This is stuff I love to talk about. I love talking about this because this stuff works, and it's so much better than feeling down or feeling happy sometimes and down the next. And it's like, no, we can like feel so good all the time, and we just have to practice. And remember, this is like being in the gym. It's like, you have to build the muscle of a good self-concept and do things in a certain way to feel better. And you've got to figure out what your certain way is. I could give you a blueprint all day long about what I do that feels awesome. And if anybody wants to know, I'll tell you, but it may not work exactly for you because you may not like to work out. I work out every day and I meditate every day and I do all these things that make me feel great, but you've got to figure out what makes you tick, what lights you up, and what works for you. And you'll never feel better than when you're actually taking care of yourself in these ways. And I will say also, persistence is huge. Consistency, doing these things in a certain way every day, consistent, non-negotiable. That's a big one. For me, non-negotiable, my non-negotiables are working out, staying hydrated, eating correctly, getting enough sleep, meditating every day, journaling. I do all this stuff every day, non-negotiable. Done it for years and years. Even if I'm on a vacation, I'm going to do the same thing. It's just it just becomes who you are. It's not what you do. It just becomes a part of you. So if you look at it that way, like, what kinds of things do I want to make a part of me as I'm shaping and molding into this person I'm becoming every single day? So really think about these things. I know I dropped a lot on you, but that could probably be a little 1 hour class, I'm sure, that I could do, and someday I will. But there's a little tidbit for you if you want to try some of those things. We'll keep talking, of course, about the same stuff, but remember, you're affirming and imagining all day long. Everything you're thinking is an affirmation. So that's why people will tell you to, do affirmations, because you're thinking them anyway. You might as well think some delusional things. I love to be delusional. I think being delusional is so much better than looking at what is and griping about it. Oh my God, I don't want to gripe about that anymore. I'm over it. I'd rather say, I'm the Queen of England. Whatever you want to say. That feels much better than saying, oh my God, I'm broke. This sucks. I had a bad day. Everything went wrong. Whatever it is you're saying, you got to stop that. And you've got to stay true to the vision that you prefer to feel like. And with practice, you'll start to see big, big changes in your life. It is so cool. And again, if you don't believe in this stuff, become your own evidence. Try it. I guarantee you haven't tried it for very many days. Some people say they've tried it for years. Keep listening to my videos. If you've been trying something for years, there's something that is going on. It's probably, I would imagine, noticing the old story still. I mean, it's just, you're not shifting the identity fully yet. So we just have to be very cognizant of where our thoughts are, and as much as possible, and who we are being. You've got to, when you go out into the world, you're being a certain way. You're expecting things. You're assuming things. As soon as you walk out the door, you've got assumptions and expectations. And think about what you're assuming and expecting, and then that will give you a hint into who you're being. Super interesting stuff. As I talk about this more and more, and I'm studying more and more, it is making a lot of sense. And I hope it's making sense to you. As I talk about it, I'm kind of like solidifying it in my own brain so that someday I can really, teach workshops and barely need any notes for anything, and just be able to rattle off all this stuff. But this really helps me to kind of get it out in pieces. So I hope it's making sense to you, and I hope it's helping you in some way. And thank you so much for listening and watching. And please like, share, subscribe if you'd like to. Please share with somebody if you think they might benefit from this at all. And thank you again for being with me. Thank you for your comments. You guys are so amazing. And I had someone say I'm inspiring them, and I just want to say you all are inspiring me to create this for you, because as I create for you, this is becoming part of me. And again, we're in a co-creation. We're all here together. So I am you, you are me. So it's a very interesting thing we got going on here. So thank you so much again for watching. I will be back tomorrow. Bye.